Okay, so we are talking about electroacoustic change and we start talking about the microphones, and that is really obvious because when you have a sound source like that's awful, a person speaking, okay, that is where the change begins because you have a sound source. It can be a guitar or whatever, and then you need it to translate it to electrical impulse, that is audio, through a microphone. So the electroacoustic change flows through the microphones, a cable, and you go to a mix board and you process it here. You can have outside equipment like rack equipment, extra equalizer or compressor or whatever, and then you go to the power stage. Like the power stage, if you raise the level to it can move a speaker. So after that it goes the speaker and it's like this, and the people can hear it again. That is the electroacoustic change in a very simple way. So we start talking about microphones. There are several kinds of microphones, but we talk about two, and that is enough by now. Then it goes through a cable to the mixer. I will take just some minutes to talk about cables because I think it's important to recognize some. This is the microphone cable. It's called Canon because I think like the first brand that started using it was Canon, or XLR3 because it has 3 connectors. What is important about this? In the 3 connectors you have the signal, the neutral, and the ground. And that's important because microphones give to you a really low level of electricity. So it's really easy to lose it in the way or to have interference. That's why the engineers create this, because in the first one, in one of the pins you have the signal, the neutral, and you have ground. With inside of the cable is like a barrier, I don't know how to call it, it's like a net that is covering it. So it's protecting the signal of parasite signals that are in the air, like radio, stuff like that. And that's the cable of the microphone. You have the instrument cable. It's like this, jack, plug, I don't know how you call it. But you have to recognize that it has just 2 pins, just the tip, the signal, and the ground. So this kind of cable is not protected. It hasn't a net inside that is protecting the signal. So, for example, in the past were super common to connect your guitar with this and go really long distances, like I use meters, but for example 30 meters, and a cable without protection like this so long with 30 meters becomes an antenna. So you have connected the guitar and then you go to the board and you lift the volume and you can hear the radio stations because it becomes an antenna. It hasn't protection. That's why the microphone's cable has protection. That's important. And you have this kind of cable too that is the same of the guitar cable, but it has 3 pins. It's different. It has tip, ring, and slip. So this kind of cable is used mostly for headphones, for example. You have left signal, right signals, and ground, or the protection. But you can use it to a microphone connection, because you will still having the signal, the neutral, and the ground, the protection side. But you have to think in this kind of cable, it doesn't have like a lock system. It's like you can push it and you will take it away. But this kind of cable has a locker, so this is the most obvious and the most secure kind of connection to your microphone. Okay, so we are talking about electroacoustic change. We have the sound source. We translate it to electricity in the microphone. It travels through a cable. We just quickly talk about tables and then go the mixer or the board. This is one board, analog board. It's just an example. We don't need to talk so much about this, but this just have the function of receiving several input signals, several instruments, microphones, whatever, and blend it and mix it to use one or two or whatever outputs. That is the main reason. It was created like mostly for the radios, because you have like a disc player or vinyl player in that time and the person is speaking, and at the beginning they have to unplug something to put the other stuff, raise the volume, and then take it. So there was the need to have something to mix it together and not to be unplug it everything. So that's why the mix board is 6. It has several stuff. We are not talking about that, but the main knowledge that you need now is this: mix everything. This has 10 inputs, microphone inputs plus another inputs, and they can go through 2 cables to speakers. Okay, so the next stage after this, after you mixed everything, is the power stage. It's important for me to mention this because you have the microphone signal. If you made a graphic, probably will be like this. This is the signal. It's really low. So it comes to the mixer and you raise it with the preamplifier and the mix stuff, equalization, compression and stuff, and it raises to that kind of level. Okay? But that kind of level, that kind of voltage is not enough to make a speaker of 12-inch, 15-inch, whatever, to move, because you need power to move it. So the power stage raises the mix or whatever it be to a level that maybe in comparison, like maybe this high, to move the speaker. So the speakers, mostly of the speakers, work in the same way that the microphone, the dynamic microphone. It has a coil with a magnet and it has a membrane, really big membrane. So the electricity comes here and make change in the magnet and it moves the membrane. So the speaker needs to move back forward and into the front and in the membrane in this way too. So it needs to move a lot. So how do you raise this kind of signal to this huge kind of signal in the power stage? So you have passive speakers that they need power outside. That is why our system that you have a power, it's called power or power amplifier, just behind in the side of the mixer or in a rack or wherever. So with the mixer you feed the power, and just with the power you go through a special cable to the speaker, and the speaker will move because the amplifier, the outside amplifier, is doing that for you. And there is another kind of speaker that they are called active speakers. They don't have an external power. You go just with a cable from the mixer to the speaker, but the speaker needs to be plugged to the electricity because the speaker inside has a power stage. The speaker raises the level to move So there are important that you recognize that. Maybe you will not use it a lot, but if you are going outside, maybe just super easy just to have an active speaker with a generator, because you will be carrying just one speaker, and mostly of the active speakers you can put a microphone directly. You don't need a mixer, so you can put directly a microphone and you can be, I don't know, doing evangelism in the streets if that is allowed for you. We do this a lot in Chile. So, but if we have like passive speaker, we should be in the street with a passive speaker with an amplifier that they are really weighted, like it's a pain to have it, and a mixer. So maybe for that application you just need an active speaker. So that is important, power stage, and then the speaker.